Rise and shine, Valentine's. I don't usually jump on video messages or go live like that. Too busy. But I also don't want to type or text so much right now because, like I said, I'm too busy. So I just want to send out this video to my OEB people and just get your idea of what do you guys think a breeder is. Like, in your eyes, what's a breeder? Is a breeder a person that has two dogs, puts them together and has puppies? I don't think so, because then anybody could be a breeder. I think a breeder should be a person that takes the breeding program serious. First of all, their breed, their standard, their life, their feed, their health, their emotional well-being. First and foremost, like the emotional and the health well-being of the dog is important, first and foremost. After that, comes in all the hard work, like the dog pooping, scooping, and all that other stuff, But for me, like, when I ask myself a question, what's a dog breeder? I always, ask that question to myself, and I tell myself, well, it's somebody that loves their dogs and loves their breed. It's somebody that wants the breed to succeed and be recognized and be respected, And as far as respected, when I say respect, I mean, when you respect a breed, you don't go and throw in other breeds into it, I mean, you do see a lot of F1 breedings now with these OEBs. I'm against it. You see a lot of F1 breedings with poodles, making golden doodles and poodles and bernedoodles and all kinds of doodles. And I'm against that too, because you're just creating an unstable dog. And you're creating more dogs to flood a market that's already flooded because of all the COVID breeders, which I'm glad that all the pandemic breeders are pretty much out the business now. And now the economy is so fucking bad that all the other breeders that were, temporary breeders are out the business too now because they cannot deal with the cost. Because obviously if you're a breeder, you deal with a lot of cost, like every week. Every week you gotta buy food, every week you gotta pay, give water, every week you gotta build something or fix something. It's always a new struggle every week or every month, every year, whatever it is. If you're a true breeder where you're upgrading your program. Unless you want to have a program, with dogs in living rooms and crates in an apartment. That's not a program. That's not a breeding program. You don't even have the space for the dog to run in. Anyways. So, my rant for today is like with dog shows, and with OEB breeders. How do you guys feel about being a true breeder and going to a dog show and you have your generational oldie with you? Good structure, good structure, good looking dog, good temperament, healthy, fits the standard, etc., etc. But then you lose to an F1 because the F1 looks, it looks good too, I mean, it has the, the body and everything, it has the good conformation, etc., etc. So it has all the, so you lose to an F1 that fits the standard and has the confirmation, right? So did the dog technically win? Yes, he fits the standard and the specifications, the definition of what the OEB Bulldog is. I understand that. But that's where the part of being a breeder comes in too. Because that one guy that created that F1 match, and it came out nice because he got two nice dogs and, the hybrid vigor shows, and it creates a really pretty dog, because you see both breeds inside one dog, and it makes a real pretty dog, your F1. And you're excited because you got this, first breeding and it came out all nice, you're like, wow, I got this beautiful breeding, it's an F1 breeding, they're all badass dogs, But did that breeder put in the work? Yes, he made he produced a litter, but he did not put in the work for that breed. And when I say that is, he did not put in the work generations for that dog to be a registered generational dog. It's just an F1. So in my eyes, I believe that F1s shouldn't be able to compete. At least not against generational dogs. F1 should be in fun shows. A true registry, a true breeding program is not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're trying to stick to the standard, respect the standard. They're creating good, healthy dogs, the health testing, etc., etc., etc. A true breeder puts in the time to have a generational pedigree. If you're doing it right and you're waiting for your bitches to be 2.5 to 3 years old, multiply that by 5 generations. How long is that going to take you? 15 years, 14 years, etc., etc. It's a lot of time you put in, you know, especially if you're starting from the bottom. If you're starting from F1 or F2. Now, there's a lot of breeders that have generational female pedigrees because they're breeding 10-month-old bitches or bitches on their first or second heat. I don't like that either, but you know what? I mean, to each their own. You know, they could abuse and use their dogs however they want. You know, I like my dogs to be healthy. I like my dogs to be happy. I like them to, you know, live their lives. I don't want, you know, they're not stock to me like to other people, you know. To me, my dogs, I love my dogs. And I want them to be happy. I want them to have a good life. You know, I want them to be dogs. Have fun, play. Don't live inside of a crate or a cage all day. I want them to have fun, you know. But not everybody, you know, thinks like that. Some people want to skip steps. Some people want to skip steps for fast gratitude. But what does that do for the breeders that are actually putting in the work? You know, nowadays, anybody could just get a badass American Bulldog and another beautiful Oldie, breed them together. I got an F1, now I got a taller dog, maybe a dog with more bone, maybe a dog with more type, and now, wow, now I won at a show, so I'm the best breeder in the world. No, you're not. You just got lucky, you know. You got an F1 breeding. Show me what your dogs look like 15 years from now, 10 years from now, 8 years from now, even 5 years from now. That's why there's so many breeding programs. I've been in this fucking game for a long time, you know, and with different breeds from pit bulls where I started. I started with real game fucking pit bulls in Chicago. And from there, Mastiffs, American Bullies, OEBs. Shit, I even got some Pomeranians, you know, that are Rich River Productions on our second generation or whatever. What I'm getting at is, everybody always wants to take the shortcuts. And then they feel real proud, you know, after they take the shortcuts. But in reality, all you did was just take a shortcut. You know, it's, you know, this is about longevity, man. Like, I want to see my pedigrees just Rich River all across, you know. And I want my pedigrees to be generational. And I want my pedigrees to be filled with only dogs that belong to breeding programs, you know, that are respectable breeding programs. You know, there's some lines out there that I refuse to put in with my dogs. I mean, I'm glad that I'm at a point now where I don't sell breeding rights. I don't breed for breeding rights. I don't try to upcharge shit. My dogs cost the same all the way across the fucking board, you know, because I'm not going to be, okay, this costs more because of breeding rights and being greedy-ass breeders that want to add a $500 or $1,000 for breeding rights to the shittiest dog in the fucking litter just to say they got breeding rights. What good does that do? You're handing over breeding rights to someone who has no experience with the dog that's a subpar representation, but you got your pockets full, so now you're happy because you did your thing. And now you're going to take 1,000 pictures and you're going to post and hashtag shit and be like the hypest breeder and whatever, you know? That's all a bunch of bullshit, bunch of smoke and mirrors, man. That's why you see all these fucking programs come in and out, come in and out, come in and out. They come in, start their F1 bullshit. They can't deal with it because then they start seeing all this fucking health issues come up down 2-3 generations down the line, and then they shut down their whole fucking yard and program. And now they disappear or jump on another breed or try to do another F1 breeding. You got all these fucking old English Bulldog breeders that are constantly doing F1 breedings. Those dogs should not be allowed to show. Those dogs should have to be at least an F3 before they can show. So at least you can say have 3 generations of consistency behind these dogs. F1s, it's a mutt. It's a mix. What's the point of having paper dogs if you're going to be putting papers on dogs that are mixed anyways? Okay? Now we're gonna have the people are gonna say, well, OEBs are mixed, aren't they? Don't they have Bull Mastiff, APPT, English Bulldog in them? Isn't that how they did it, huh? Yeah, when you started. But we started fucking back in the 70s. You know, when David Levitt started to, you know, rebuild this this breed, you know, and then when everybody else got lazy, especially the fucking registries got lazy as fuck and started fucking registering everything just to get some money. You know, money for what? You know, money for what? So you could just, you know, line your pockets and fool all the rest of the people out there thinking that, you know, like their dog is registered with a good registry. I could print all that shit on my fucking office, man. I could print all those fucking papers out in my office. I could make my own fucking registry if I wanted to. I'll go to GoDaddy, get myself another website. I could go even to get them free AI shits and do a fucking registry. You know, so I mean, if you're gonna be a registry, you know, have pride in what you do. Set standards for the breeders, not just the breed, not just the dogs. Set standards for the breeders. You know, make sure that their dogs are fine. Make sure that they have a real fucking program. Make sure that the dogs that are showing are F3s at least and on. You know, stop giving freaking awards and prizes and pats on the back, making these people think that they're doing the right thing, awarding F1 Merles fucking, you know, first place ribbons or F1 anything. F1 is F1. First generation, first trial run, first mistake. Once it's generational, it's consistent. You're proven. Your pedigree is proven that you're going to produce these dogs, that you're going to make dogs that look like this, that you're going to produce healthy dogs, that you've been doing this for years, that it's not just your first rodeo and you bought 2 dogs with your tax money and now you're a fucking breeder, or with your COVID money, or with whatever fucking money you come up with, or your whatever money, your dope money. Some of you motherfuckers sell dogs and try to advertise these dogs like it's fucking crack. You know, these are fucking dogs, man. You guys are, you know, anyways, I don't want to get into that shit. Well, that's my rant. My personal rant is this. If you're a breeder, respect your program, respect your pedigree, build your pedigree, make it consistent, your line, make your own line, and stay away from the F1 breedings. F1 breedings to me means you started over. F1 breedings mean to me that you cannot fucking work with what you got. Or, and I will backtrack and say this, or you are a serious breeder that wants to start something serious and then prove down the line when he has a generational pedigree or whatever that he's a serious breeder, that what he started, he finished, and that he didn't just, you know, like do it just to sell litter dogs with full rights and then get paid and try to, you know, get himself out of his apartment or get a new car or a gold chain or whatever the fuck you guys are doing with your money. I don't care. Damn! You made me drop my motherfucking J, man. Anyways, here I'm back. So, that's my rant, man. I believe F1s should be registered, but shouldn't be able to show. And if they show, they cannot show till they're F3s. Okay, just not to make it that hard, because everybody's gonna be like, well, we'll never have nobodies at the show. Well, who gives a fuck if you have people at the show or not, man? First, build a consistent breed so you can have a consistent audience. So then you're going to have real dogs competing against each other just like they do in AKC. You don't see no fucking F1s, you know, Dachshunds, no F1 Dobermans, no F1s, nothing winning the whole fucking show. Not even the Doodles. None of that shit. None of it. But so why can the OEB have an F1 Best in Show winner? You didn't Best in Show prove shit. The only thing you proved is you put 2 dogs together and the neighborhood crackhead could do that on his own. For real. But anyways, think about that, registries. Think about that. How serious are we taking our breed? How serious are we taking our breed? Are we just ready to hand out registration papers and awards all willy-nilly to the first generation bred Bulldogge? Are we gonna? Are we really doing that? Which I know we've been doing that, and that's the point. That's why I don't want to support these shows. I sometimes support them because I have a buddy that's there that's showing or whatever, and I'll donate some money or whatever it's called when you give them money to put your fucking banner or whatever up. I might do that, you know. But shows, man, for me, man, it's a fucking joke nowadays, man. And tell me, I hope whoever's listening to this attended a show this weekend and saw with their own eyes the mumbo jumbo bullshit that they're fucking wasted $1,000 and fucking over 10 hours of driving and washing all these dogs and packing all the shit and setting aside your business and getting everybody to rush out the door so you can make it on time and stressing the fuck out, getting your family all huddled up. Let's go to the show, let's go. And then when you get there, F1, he won. The F1 dog took the whole fucking show. What the fuck? How did this motherfucker, what did he prove? He didn't prove shit. He didn't prove he has a breeding program. He didn't prove that he could keep a breeding program. And he didn't prove that he produced any one of these motherfucking dogs himself besides buying 2 dogs and producing a fucking F1 or getting a stud service. You didn't do shit. You didn't do shit. 4 months. 4 months, that's it. 2 months gestation, 2 months for the motherfuckers to grow up and be sold. 4 months. That's what I see when I see these F1s. You're a 4-month fucking breeder. Anyways, oh well. I'll keep doing me, and you guys keep doing you. And, well, good luck to everybody. And to those who, you know, take their breeding program serious, and to those who really care about, you know, making things better for the breed, you know, I salute you guys. You know, thank you for being serious breeders out there. But for you that are just doing F1 breedings that barely started, I hope you take the fucking breed serious, and I see a generational breeding or an F3 breeding of yours down the line. I really hope I do. Just don't be like these assholes that are breeding fucking puppies, these 10th-month-old bitches, fucking 1-year-old bitches, first heat bitches. I can't stand that shit, man. And there's a bunch of them too, and guess what? They're judges too. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool how you could become a judge after you breed a dog that's still a baby? It's awesome, man. I think that's fucking awesome. You know, it's even cooler to be able to be a judge when you've been, like, convicted of fucking animal abuse. Or even a representative of the registry after having that stupid shit, you know? Fucking idiots, man. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. Hope you guys have a good day. It's a long fucking video. Watch it if you want to watch it. Criticize what you want to criticize. I don't care. I'm just here to try to make some nice fucking dogs and be a representative of the breed, a real representative of the breed, you know? Not no chump representative with F1 breedings thinking that they're doing the shit. And you got these dumbasses breeding Bordeaux with OEBs, man. Fucking idiots. 100%. I got Bordeaux, and my Bordeaux are top-notch Bordeaux. And I would not disrespect the breed by putting another breed on them. Just like I won't disrespect my OEB breed by putting one of my Bordeaux on them. Because this is work, man. To me, this is a work of art. Just like Karen says. Karen Lissardi says, this is my artwork. And she's right. Because you put your vision into it, you know. You select the dogs that you want to use in your program, and then you put your vision into it, and then you get a final result. You know, and it's not just an instant result. You know, that's the problem with this fucking, you know, mentality nowadays. Everybody wants instant gratification. I want it now. I want to be rich now. I want the badass dog now. I want the registry now. I want my paperwork now. I want everything now. Everything's going to be now. Nobody wants to fucking wait to put the work in. Self-gratification nowadays, man. That's all it is. Pats in the back. These people, you know, that's why they go to the shows, to get a pat on the back. I don't need a pat on the back. Pat my own back. Look at that. Good job, brother. Pat my own fucking back. Because I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. I'm doing shit right, taking care of my business, and I'm not doing anybody wrong. So I have the right to talk all the fucking shit I can. Right? Have a good day.